Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity. In the bottom left hand corner we have Liquid TLO starting as the blue Terran. In the upper right hand corner we have EG Incontrol starting as the red Protoss. This is on Shakura's Plateau, and this should be an extremely intense matchup. You have Incontrol, who has breached the top 16. He's in the zone. Every once in a while you'll see him just take on this incredible focus in tournament play. He just takes his game up to another level. That is definitely happening here. He's going up against TLO, who has a ton of weapons in his arsenal. The most formidable, I would say, is his ability to just come up with fantastic new builds, incredible creative timings, and do so almost in a vacuum. It seems like he just comes up with them on a whim, something new that no one else is doing. Finds the medevac where other players don't have it, extra Viking, extra SCV along the corner. Somehow he ekes out these troops, these timings, these builds that completely throws opponents off. Unfortunately, I would say this is a difficult matchup for him in Incontrol. I'm not sure if it's Incontrol's teaching ability or the fact that he does so much coaching, which you can actually catch him at gosucoaching.com, where, again, he provides a lot of coaching and does an excellent job at doing so. I'm not sure if it's just Incontrol's brain, the way it's assembled. He's very good, though, at adapting to cheese and adapting to new flavors and new styles of play. It looks like SCV and Probe coming across each other, both heading towards each other's base. Just right off the bat, looks like a barracks going up for TLO. So unfortunately for TLO, it seems like his most formidable weapon, I would say his strongest ability, might be a little bit less scary versus Incontrol, just because Incontrol tends to be very good at coping and dealing with the things that are unseen. And I'm not sure why that is. That I feel like that's always been the case, even back in the Brood War days. We'll see how he plays it out. He's definitely playing on another level right now, just like he did in his WCG championship in 2008 in Brood War. It looks like secondary pylon going down. It is cross position, so I expect a little bit more economic style of play, a little bit of harassment I missed here in TLO's base. Nothing really getting halted. It looks like about 5 or 10 damage off that SCV. Looks like 5 exactly. And that probe taking a lot of initial damage, but now it has that shield recharging, just checking things out. Wants to specifically see if TLO is going to take that second gas early before he retreats, but he's going to cut his losses before that Marine can really tack out against him. In the meantime, Incontrol has that SCV wandering around in his base down to 25 health. It looks like he's still managing to provide some harassment and quickly taking a second gas, which leads me to believe, well, this is the problem, is when you see a Protoss take a second gas, usually you start thinking, okay, more sentry heavy play and perhaps more robotics facility play, so a safer opening. And that's kind of funny because you see the one simulator, you're thinking, okay, 4-gate, more aggressive. But at the same time, Protoss can switch that around, get some gas, and maybe even go heavy air in the mid game. But at the very least, you know you're not going up against a 4 warp gate, or at least not a later 4 warp gate, if that assimilator is tacked down a little bit later. And let's see what Incontrol decides to do early on. I almost wonder if at these distances he's going to opt for gateway into robotics facility just to provide some additional information with an early observer. It looks like he is just using the chrono boost on that warp gate rather than probes early here to get that early warp gate action. And I love this play from TLO. Again, very creative. He's going to open up Reaper with Stim to, so basically, and obviously Stimpact does not assist Reapers. You can't stim Reapers, unfortunately. It looks like there is a hidden probe to the north for Incontrol for some later scouting. But what this will allow TLO to do is apply pressure, first of all, because this is an extremely exposed kind of curvature right here. You can get up into this Marine lane, particularly if we see Zealot first. Looks like we're seeing actually Sentry. Unfortunately, Sentry's a bit slow, and Reapers can take them one-on-one. And this is very, I like this decision from TLO upon seeing that second gas, assuming that he would be going up against heavy Reaper play. There's a Robo, and it looks like a second gateway as well. And basically, the Reaper can handle the Stalker fairly effective, or sorry, the Sentry fairly effectively, and Incontrol is going to need to get a Stalker out. And on top of that, let's assume TLO or Incontrol was doing something different. At the same time, he's going to be able to scout that and get inside the base and get all that sort of beautiful information. So it looks like that Reaper coming along that right-hand side. I will check on him momentarily. And in the meantime, TLO also going to take an additional command center and just rely on this beautiful harass to pin Incontrol back. And on top of that, he could just keep it in base if he saw any sort of large attack coming. It doesn't look like he's going to do so. So here's that first sentry. Should get taken out unless Incontrol can slot in that probe. Second sentry out. So, and that's a lot of force field that was in fact lost. That's unfortunate because, again, Reapers versus force field can't get a lot accomplished there. Stalker coming back to base. This is also going to force Incontrol to stay back towards the main rather than trying to contest that middle ground, those Unlega watchtowers. Fortunately for him, looks like he already has a probe there. Stalker gets that first kill on that Reaper to eliminate that attack. 3-gate into Robo, and actually TLO, I feel like he's spotted and he realizes what's going on, but it is possible he had less vision as far as the gateway count. Looks like he's gone very heavy barracks in the meantime, so 3 barracks. Looks like a tech lab still hasn't added on an expansion to this additional barracks here in the corner, and is also getting a factory. I think he's going to be very comfortable in getting a bunker, and it looks like killing that probe as well. getting a bunker up, getting a couple troops, and if we just bring up the unit tab, 3 Marauders, 3 Marines versus 3 Sentries, 2 Stalkers. Incontrol's not really in a position to really do any sort of damage with this, particularly with the bunker on the front door and more troops streaming out at close positions, unless you see a pylon on the low ground and some units warped into the main and just kind of splitting this attack force in between. Unfortunately, that would be kind of it's a suicide attack is what it comes down to. Incontrol would have to get a lot of SCVs with that, so I don't think he's going to risk it. An additional gas here for TLO in that back corner. It looks like he's actually gathering up to the north, so might be staging for a mid-game attack, and he still hasn't taken an additional base, nor is he saving to take an additional base, so it looks like he's going 3-gate Robo, going heavy Immortal, going with some sort of attack. He does have a pylon at the low ground, but still not saving anything to get some troops. This Marauder is going to move out and see some of these forces, and TLO able to block the one Marauder off. It looks like several SCVs coming off the line preemptively. Going to be able to take that pylon out. Now this is kind of an interesting situation for Incontrol, because it looks like he's planning an aggressive pylon, but between that observer on that low ground, maybe he can keep these troops on the ground, allow some more. No, going to charge up with what he has, blocking off with force fields on that bunker. It looks like he might be able to get that bunker down very, very quickly. TLO not in position to repair. Okay, does get the focus fire, does get the bunker down. TLO still working on that second bunker, but there's too many forces here for TLO, able to pick off that Immortal, which is huge. Still some mining time disrupted. But still, I got to call out a victory overall for TLO. He still has the mules to drop. He still has that natural expansion. He didn't lose a ton of SCVs there. What I had hoped to see from Incontrol is kind of a staging troop to pin a lot of these troops to the ground, and then maybe a pylon and a couple zealots warped in to apply some pressure on TLO. Unfortunately, that attack did not work out. Now he's going to be somewhat economically behind into the mid-game. And let's see if he can still... He's definitely going to end up losing this pylon here on the front. But TLO defensively, 2 bunkers which you can recycle in time, is in an excellent economic position overall. As long as you're even in harvester count, the mules will press you ahead if you are a Terran versus a Protoss. Incontrol now staging here at the Xel'Naga watchtowers, and I'm not sure I like that either, because if there's a large enough attack force that could, well, if he's not very responsive, he could get pinned in and lose half his army essentially. Now Robotics Bay going to be a little bit late on those Colossus. Looks like you have starports and medevacs, so essentially Vikings are going to be out to engage that already. But game is not over yet. Additional gas for TLO. He has the economic lead, but he does not have the match just yet. Let's see what Incontrol can do to apply some pressure and try to sneak back in this. Getting a 3rd assimilator to get some more gas under his belt. Also chrono boosting several probes. I assume he's just going to expend a lot of that chrono boost just on probes alone. And what I really want to see him to do is what I think he's doing right here. He's moving some probes out in the field. I want to see him sneak a quick additional base, maybe even to this upper corner where he already has a probe. So actually exchanging the probes on Xel'Naga watchtower. But I almost want to see him sneak an expansion up here away from TLO and try to ninja that. Looks like observers moving to the corner, sneaking things out, getting a good look. 2 barracks with the tech labs. No, he's going to be against actually 3 barracks with tech labs, so more Marauder heavy for TLO into this mid game. Now starting to press out with those medevacs. He's also got that factory just idle in the corner, but medevac and soon to be heavy Marauder army going to be pressing against Incontrol, losing that observer on that corner, which is going to deny him some precious information, but I think he got all the information he was really looking for there. First Colossus out, canceling the thermal lance upgrade. So initially going for it, but realized, okay, this attack is coming out. I have to recognize this threat, and instead I need some more troops on the ground to just deal with what is coming at me. And unfortunately, he does not have a huge number of sentries to defend this kind of 2-base press, and maybe he can eliminate this if he can sneak up, pick off those medevacs, maybe kind of chew through the troop. Now starting to engage. There are a lot of Immortals to hurt TLO in this attack, but again, with the, and that is going to back that off, but sentries, not enough of them out in the field to force those force fields on the ground to force an attack from TLO. In the meantime, TLO has map control. He can take a 3rd base. Looks like he's going to clear the Xel'Naga watchtowers, but never mind, not before spotting some Marines with kind of a half-hearted attack. It looks like they're going to drop on that Xel'Naga watchtower instead, take out that probe. So really beneficial of Incontrol to have that earlier. And let's see what TLO is up to now. I assume he's going to go for another expansion. We're seeing a Stargate in the back corner for Incontrol, so wants to move to the air, get some Phoenixes to perhaps pad that attack force. I wouldn't mind seeing some additional attack forces in the air as well in the form of Void Res, but unfortunately it looks like there's already some Vikings out there. Also Banshees, and a lot of Banshees in this hidden corner. It looks like, wow, a major Banshee force, which will really chew through those Stalkers, really chew through those Immortals. Incontrol needs to dedicate heavy air, and he needs to do so now. And that's the thing with Banshees is they're just really effective units against almost everything. Looks like also a Raven being fielded. It looks like level weapons 1. And the beauty of this is because he's going so heavy air, a nice little scouting there by TLO. What he's essentially doing is he's forcing heavier stalker play, and then when you throw in that Raven, you get a point defense drone, and you have a lot of Marauders underneath it. It just gets really difficult for Protoss to counter anything. It looks like Incontrol trying to open up that Destructible Rocks and take that 12 o'clock base. Let's see how Incontrol can counter this excellent, I would say, transition and forced unit combination from TLO. First Cloak Banshee moving up, that will be a big indicator. I don't see any observers at the forward location for Incontrol. On top of that, that's the other thing, is you're forced to build observers rather than some of those heavy background gateway units. And as long as you're consistently building Marauders under the corner as well, it gets really, really difficult to cope with. Finally, Observer moving out, really picking out that unit quickly, but Incontrol losing some probes. In the meantime, it looks like he's already lost 3. Looks like that Phoenix might be able to hunt it down with an little comp set, actually trying to pick off, or at least scout, that Observer. And TLO immediately pressing to that front door, not really giving Incontrol any breathing room. Thermal Lance upgrade is finished. Incontrol a bit out of position though, towards his main, trying to deal with that Banshee. It looks like a Colossus is going to get pinned underneath. Might even lose this natural expansion as TLO is stimmed. And he's trying to micro away from it. Looks like he's not going to get the attack, but he is starting to push back a little bit. One Viking gets picked off. It looks like a drop going in, so TLO splitting this attack force. Incontrol pursuing. He did not have a lot to back that up, but TLO thinking twice of it, realizing that this is a formidable attack force. Too many Stalkers for him to deal with, and not enough Banshees really to cope with it. So initially wanting to rejoin that attack force, instead he's going to drop. And that Banshee with, I missed this, 17 kills, completely emptying the main during all of those shenanigans. So Incontrol is, oh man, he's drawing back, and really what he needs to do is just go for an all-in attack to try to even things up. Otherwise he's just going to end up falling too far behind otherwise. Some Phoenixes rolling out in the field, but this is TLO's game to lose at this stage. He's starting to press forward. Looks like that medevac should get taken out, and that attack trooping should be filtered out as well. Some ghosts also being produced, and that powerful EMP as well. And TLO with just split attacks everywhere, consistently harassing Incontrol on multiple fronts, as well as engaging on the front door, providing a ton of pressure. And Incontrol cannot keep up with this. His army count is just nowhere comparatively. Granted, a lot of that is in Harvesters, but still look at this unit composition comparatively, and it is a bit scary. Incontrol is going to need to micro this really, really well. He does have the Colossi to get it done. Starting to scoot in too many Vikings. Looks like they are picking out through the Phoenixes, but getting danced at, and the Viking count actually dropping, which might open things up for Incontrol. He still has 41 Harvesters, but still that was devastating, losing all of those troops. 17 in the background to that Banshee. TLO now taking additional expansion. He definitely has map control. He definitely has a strong economy. I think it's Incontrol needs to run out and do something. He can't just sit back and continue to absorb these constant attacks from TLO on all fronts and expect to win these matches. A couple of pylons being warped into these corners, and it looks like there's still this lower pylon, which should scout this Vespian Geyser, and maybe some Zealots warped into that location will be able to get some action, or some Stalkers or something at this stage. Looks like we do see a Forge finally warping in for Incontrol. Looking at the upgrades on the opposite side, level 1 weapons are up for TLO. He has that Raven, plenty of energy in it, some Banshees, some Vikings, on again a heavy Marauder count underneath, which is significant, as well as 3 Ghosts. The Ghosts plus the EMP could really nerf this army very, very rapidly, and also neutralize those Phoenixes and their ability to really lift units off and be effective as in their harassment. It looks like there's still a probe going to get taken out to that northern base. Looks like that initial pylon was taken out, so no harassment opportunity for Incontrol. Nice EMP catching almost every single Stalker right there. That's going to be a big trigger for TLO to press forward. He's trying to hunt this army down. Incontrol is actually going to engage this. Needs to kite a little bit. Nice sentry wall though to allow the Colossi to do full effect. Wow, Cloaked Banshees annihilating everything underneath. Now it looks like TLO losing his ground infantry force, but he still has those Banshees underneath, trying to work what he can, what magic he has. I do not see any observer in the meantime, but Incontrol just charging through everything in the meantime. And it looks like the Vikings are getting taken out as well. The Colossi just pressing straight through it. Looks like they are going to get picked off by the Banshees. That's unfortunate. It seems like if he just had an observer here, he would be able to really press this attack forward after a really strong groundswell victory. But unfortunately, at close positions with TLO, that's probably going to be GG, because he's lost his entire army. The Colossus not getting anything accomplished, and now Incontrol behind economically, doesn't have a third. Still plenty of Marauders standing, plenty of medevacs to recharge them, and he's charging back towards his base. He does not have any semblance of an army to fight this off. His main looking very thin as far as the economy goes. And ooh, TLO just pressing forward. He has plenty of Vikings, only 2 Phoenixes and 4 Stalkers to try to defend against all of this mess. Oh my, looks like a single Colossus right there in the last stalwart defense for Incontrol gets taken out. TLO continues to press it forward. Wow, another Colossus down. The Banshees just ruling this match. That natural expansion dropping and dropping fast. Incontrol desperately trying to take that 12 o'clock base, but that is way too little, way too late. The probes fleeing, and that is not going to happen. Just a big stream of blue moving across the map. There's GG. It looks like we're going to move on to Metalopolis in this best of 5. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for listening.